here's my crazy example that I came up with, and I tried to figure out if I could get a board or something. I thought, well, I could do it with an object. And make a shadow. See the shadow? She's okay. We're just going to use a lollipop. It's going to be a very holy teaching. It's going to be a second. Okay? Because we're very high tech here. Okay. So let's assume that this is the self. Okay? Just go. I just need to go. It's ridiculous. I know. This is it's a ridiculous kind of day. So this is what we're doing. Okay. So let's assume that the lollipop is the self. And you see the shadow on the piece of paper of the lollipop, right? You can see the shadow. So when you get caught in the negative mind, you lose your ability to see this, and you start to say that this, the shadow, is who I am. Okay? You start to actually perceive yourself just as this. You lose your ability to see. And I think, like I said, it might sound a little bit like semantics, but it's a shift of consciousness that it takes. It's a paradigm shift, really. If you can start to shift from seeing yourself as the shadow and start to say, well, I can't see my way through the shadow yet, but I know I'm not the shadow. I actually know that I'm not my depression. I know I'm not my fear. I have some ability to stay connected to an awareness of who I really am, even when my mind is screaming about stuff. Right, screaming out in this pain of what I'm experiencing, what I've lived through, right, or what someone else is experiencing and learning through. And so when you meditate, so part of my reason for the lollipop shadow is, okay, so if you were here last week, and even if you weren't here last week, we've been talking about, well, why meditate? Not just meditate, here, let's do it, but why? Why do you meditate? Why? And it's so cool right now. So many people are talking about meditation and trying it out and trying to figure it out. But I think one of the problems with meditation right now is that people sit down to meditate and they don't go to here. They go to here. And even for my longtime meditators, I think so many people get caught in the shadow, right, in the morass of thoughts and impressions and experiences in all that field of the mind. It's like a field of the mind. And the point of meditation is to get the lolly, just like the kids, right? Is to get to the good stuff. It's not just to sit there and marinate in the bad stuff. And I think so many people that meditate sit down and they marinate in the negative mind for 20 minutes, and then they get up and go. And they're like, yeah, I can't tell. You know what I mean? I didn't do that much. I got quiet. I thought about how painful it all is. Solid minutes. And then I went to work, and that was much better. So that's, you know what I mean, where it's like, wait a second. Don't lose your perspective. Okay? To the best of your ability, and know that when you sit to meditate, that there is something that you're trying to reach, right? You're trying to reach that depth of who you are. You're trying to touch into a place of love and remind yourself that it exists for all of us all the time, but that we get lost from it. We get separate from it. We forget that that's the point of doing the meditation practice. That's the point of doing the spiritual practices.